Hi, today I want to chat to you a bit about cycling, foot problems in cycling, both stationary and then when you're out on the road or mountain biking. I've gone to find all our old cycling shoes in the cupboard. It's not the latest technology, but you'll get the very good idea. If you see any brands, please just ignore it. I'm not promoting any brands. So, the fit of your shoe is very important, because if you don't have the correct fit, it can actually cause numbness, pins and needles, and discomfort when you cycle, because the further you cycle, the more blood supply rushes to your feet and your feet will swell, so it will take up more space inside your shoe. Now, you do get different widths of shoes, and when you go and buy your cycling shoes, I would obviously suggest that you go to a cycling specialist store and that you look at the specific width of the shoe to fit your foot. Now, a cycling shoe is very important that it needs to fit snugly around your foot, because you don't want your foot to float around inside the shoe, because the shoe is attached to the pedal with a cleat, and then your foot and your shoe should function as a unit as per running and all of that. But so cycling shoes are bound to fit tightly around your foot and snugly, but it shouldn't be so tight that it actually causes numbness or discomfort or anything like that. So what I would suggest is, when you go to the shop, is that you actually take the inner sole out of the shoe. It's usually a removable inner sole that you can remove, like that, and then to stand on top of it and make sure that your foot fits onto the inner sole. It shouldn't be hanging over the sides here, because then it means that the shoe is not wide enough, and obviously also the length of the shoe need to be correct. But usually these specialist cycling shops are very good with fitting you with the right shoe. But that is just something very important that you need to look, and it's best to try on the shoe with the socks that you would use. Now, the second thing is that you need to look at your socks, because you can't wear socks that are too thick. As soon as you start cycling, your feet will swell, and then you have thick socks that also takes up more space inside your shoe, and then there won't be enough space, and that will cause more pressure on your foot, which can cause then the numbness and the tingling and the pins and needles. So again, socks are not, as with my other talks when I spoke on running shoes, is that socks are not there to act as cushioning and shock absorption. Socks are there to absorb moisture and to reduce the friction between your foot and the shoe. Then, so you would look, if you experience numbness or discomfort or anything like that, you will first have a look at your socks. Then the second thing is, well, I've also mentioned that you need to look at the fit of the shoe. Then you would also look at the upper. Now, this could be maybe slightly dated, but you could actually change these Velcro straps, where you make certain straps tighter than others. I know some of the later shoes have got very complicated here, where you actually tighten everything, which could be a bit of a problem. This is a very old pair of running shoes. I don't actually know why it's still in my cupboard, where it had the laces over there and just one Velcro strap. And here, what's nice with these laces is you can actually adjust them, that if you find that it's very tight over this part of your foot, that you can actually skip a few of the holes here and just tighten it up more at the top. Where I've got a video on my YouTube channel and also on my Instagram explaining the different lacing for running shoes, and you can apply that to cycling shoes too. The other thing that is very important is your cleats. The cleat position, and I'm not going to talk too much about it because that's not my expertise, but your cleats, you often need to adjust the position of your cleat for the correct bike setup. Now, what's also important, your cleat needs to sit square and straight. Sometimes if you experience foot problems, and especially if it's only on the one side, take out your shoe and examine your shoe and see if maybe your cleat is turned, because often if the cleat is turned, that can change the position of your foot in the cleat on the pedal. I don't know the right technology or the right terminology for that, and that can have an influence. So if you have a knee problem, or if you have a hip problem or a back problem, it could be coming from the setup of your shoe, of your cleat position in the pedal, and that can then have a problem higher up, especially if the problem is one-sided. But both-sided also, if it's with your knees, have a look at your bike setup, but also have a look at the shoe position. Another thing that's also important is with your shoes is examine your shoes if you start experiencing problems and discomfort. Have a look to see if there's any, this is the inside of the shoe, have a look if there's any marks here on the inside where it's maybe touching the bike while you're cycling. Or have a look if there's maybe a hole on the outside of your shoe. Put your hand inside the shoe and feel what's happening inside the shoe, because that can often also explain to you what's happening. And always compare the left and the right. As per running, when you cycle, your left and your right leg, your left and your right foot should go through the exact same movements. So if it's not equal and it's not the same, then it could be because of your bike setup, or it could be because of your own kinetic chain and your where there could be possible muscle weaknesses, where you obviously need to have a look at it. Also have a look at your your socks. If you find that after a long cycle that your socks wear out, you always get a hole on the one foot sock in the specific position, that could be how your body is compensating, and then it's best to have a look at it. When I looked at these old cycling shoes of mine this morning, I could feel that there's a hole here at the back on the left side and not on the right side. Now I know with my mechanics, because I've got the glute weak on the one side than the other, so it manifested in my shoes, and it's always also good to try and find what's the cause of your problem and discomfort that you experience. And lastly, what I'm going to chat about, again, I'm going to get back to the cleat. Now, what I've often seen is that people come and experience pain over the ball of their feet. And it's especially with cycling, it's made worse with cycling. And then it could be that the base of the sole, and there's various materials that they use, which is, again, it's not my expertise, but I'm just going to explain to you behind it, is that this hard plate becomes soft from doing a lot of cycling, especially if you've been doing a lot of hard cycling, standing a lot. Where I would actually have cycling shoes where if I turn them around and I push there on the cleat, the entire sole of the shoe is moving. So what happens every time when you stand up and you pedal down, that cleat is pushing into your foot, and that's why you're experiencing the pain. It's usually with very old cycling shoes, or if someone has done a hectic endurance race, but that could also be a problem. So if you find that your feet start experiencing problems, take off your shoes, feel them inside, examine them from the outside, and have a look at the shoe and see what see if there's any problems, or any excessive wear patterns, and that might help you to find the actual problem of your shoe. I hope it helps. If you have any comments or any questions, please just DM me, or you can put it in the comment box and I can answer that. Try and answer it. Okay, bye.